Welcome back to the NutriMedical Report for Friday, the 10th of April. And host of With the Most here is Michelle, and she's got some announcements for this weekend. Of course, we're going up this weekend, flying up tonight to see our little new baby granddaughter.
After the show,
Yeah.
we get to go up to see Matilda. She's 1 week old, which is so exciting. I can hardly even do the show, but I think I'll try to manage. I want to say something to you on the air while I have you here, and I get to see you for a few minutes before we head off on our wonderful trip. I just wanted everyone out there to know, and I know you have no idea what I'm going to say. I hope we don't cry. I think I'm going to cry. Anyways, I just want everyone to know that, yeah, you're brilliant and you're all these other things, and you're so good to people for giving them free medical advice and everything, but I don't know if you all know that Bill is probably the best dad and husband ever there was.
Oh,
ever.
Thank you.
You are, Bill. I mean, you're just like, for 30 years you've been like, you're just, I don't know, like my rock.
Always
my
there.
rock. And and now
you.
that we have a little grandbaby and everything, I know that you're going to be there for her too. And I'm teary-eyed. That never happens, does it?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
But I was thinking, I just wanted to tell you that on the air, that people, that part. I got a tear.
Don't ruin your makeup.
That's a miracle.
You have waterproof makeup on you.
I do have a little bit of makeup, nails, and everything today. Hair done, ready to roll. Anyways, I wanted them to know that that's all.
Well, and of course, my rock is the Most High God, so we're all set.
Oh, gee, well, guess what? So is mine.
Yeah, I know.
Next. Next in line.
That's the way it's supposed to work, I guess.
Yeah. Well, anyways, okay, so if I can get over that, I just wanted you to know that today.
Thank you.
I got babyitis.
Yeah, well.
Let's start with Henry, Bill. Henry is, let's see, where is Henry from? 951. That's right around here, California. Anyways, he said that his 3-year-old daughter has croup, and he wanted to know what you could do. What the doctor's trying to do is remove her adenoids.
Right.
And she's really young, but he wanted to know what you would suggest.
Well, the first thing I recommend is that you can have opportunistic bacteria and fungi and viruses in the airways. For example, in asthma, we now realize that people have chronic rhinovirus subclass 3 in their bronchi. They, believe it or not, they used to think rhinovirus was a kind of a short-term infection. You get a cold and it goes. The other thing is that you have opportunistic bacteria, strep and bacteria in the mouth, and the Waldeyer's ring, which includes the adenoids and the tonsils. You can't, by the way, remove all the tonsil. If you try to, you bleed to death, right? Because it's an extremely vascular area, so you only scoop off the top. What it used to have was look like a melon baller.
Oh, yeah.
It was what they do when they take a tonsillectomy or adenoidectomy. They kind of snip it off. And the reason why they do that is because they think that the adenoids are swelling enough, they're blocking the eustachian tube between the middle ear and the throat, where the eustachian tube equalizes pressures. What I usually recommend you start off with is, say, if she's little, I'd probably give her an Allicin Med half a capsule twice a day. And I would probably have her get her Silver 100 spray, 1 spray per 10 pounds body weight, 3 times a day. And I'd probably open up half a capsule of Power C Plus twice a day and put it in a juice or smoothie to start with. That would be my starting protocol. I wouldn't rush into doing tonsillectomy or adenoidectomy. I think it's really going out of vogue. And if you've got a chronic keratitis infection, you start gargling with NUTRIMEDICAL in water, gargle, or even use a water pick irrigator to actually get a water pick irrigator for the tonsils and the crypts in the back of the throat and just irritate or rinse them out with the Nutridyne and the water pick.
Did you say irritate or irrigate?
It does both. It'll clear out the garbage, basically. Some of the crypts in a large child, when they're 10, 12, can be an inch deep. And if it gets really deep, if the tonsils and adenoids get big, those crypts can actually have a lot of gunk in them. And you just wash it out and then it clears.
Okay. Well, this week I talked to a sweet gentleman from Florida, and he was giving a praise report. And I want to keep him anonymous because of the nature of it. And it was because it's testosterone, and he has been on the men's pack for
the men's packs,
yeah, the pack.
Which
men's max enhanced for men and Supernox.
Right.
But he had been to his doctor before that, and his doctor said his testosterone was really low, and he has those problems and everything, right?
Uh-huh.
So he called me to tell me to let everyone out there know that his doctor was shocked, right, when he had just had his testosterone checked and everything, and he's
vigorous.
Yeah. And what's wonderful about that is that it worked. But the doctor, he said, just couldn't believe it and goes, well, what are you taking? And he tells them, but they never go further to say, well,
no, they should call me, because the thing is, you want your own body to make the testosterone rather than having external testosterone, because when you take external, you're taking often too much or an imbalance or synthetic form. And what that does is you actually are going to make the body convert it to female hormone, which can cause the Ergenlagen, which is the German term for the tissue that makes up the prostate in men and the uterus in women, in the embryo. And they can make it swell, and you can get prostate hypertrophy. So you don't want to do that. And so what I tell people is just use a natural, and your body will make testosterone. And you release it from the binding globula.
Patrick from Minnesota has a boil on his inner thigh. I told him Nutridyne would take that.
Yes, Nutridyne on there, and I'd apply it every 2 hours, 3 hours, and locally put probably curcumin cream on it.
Oh, I almost forgot. Our product, Cardovite, we're changing the name, exact same product, to Cardiovasc, because we're the only supplier for Cardovite in America, because it's made in Canada. And the reason is they can't have ginkgo biloba. The Canadian government won't let them. See, we're still more free down here. The Canadian government won't let them have the ginkgo biloba. I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm so excited.
You did it right.
So we're putting our name on the bottle of the rest of our Cardovite. So when you get your Cardovite, it's still Cardovite. It's the same formula, but it's going to say Cardiovasc. It's going to look the same too, red bottle and all that stuff.
Right.
Right? I almost forgot to say that.
Yeah. Now down the road, I may do some minor upgrades to the formula, but right now it's identical. Yeah. Only for all Americans, anybody else in the world.
Only Americans.
Yeah.
And then we have, oh goodness, Ken, our dear friend from Georgia, Ken. Boy, I've got some difficult subjects today. This I don't even know if I can say this one. I don't know why it's all this men stuff, but it's about a friend that he has, husband, wife, and he, gosh, I don't know how to say this. He, when he has an ejaculation.
Premature ejaculation.
No, he doesn't have any no feeling, and no doctors can help him. He's wondering, he doesn't have any feeling with it. Is that weird? You ever heard of that?
Yeah. That means he's got some form of neuropathy. So what we do is ultrathymine B1, Nutrifos to remyelinate the nerve fibers, and Neurogen. So those three things. And we want to stop the free radicals, so cell detox, glutathione, Nutritrel, and Regenerex. And what will happen is I use a rectally mountain mid-velvet capsule under the tongue 4 times a day, and the nerve fibers will regenerate. But you need the Nutrifos, Neurogen, and these things to stop free radicals. And of course, to help regenerate the blood vessels, I recommend the ellagic acid and malignant block to repair the DNA and the damaged cells. It's very possible he's got diabetic neuropathy. That's where the ultrathymine B1 comes in.
Okay.
And you want to take 1 to 2 capsules 3 times a day of ultrathymine B1, because thiamine deficiency can cause peripheral neuropathy, and even a toxic neuropathy can cause thiamine deficiency.
Okay, Ken, I made it through that one.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I would. And Alan from North Carolina, sweet fella, 70 years old. He's takes the Nutridyne loyally and everything, but he's wanted to let him know which of these 2 products are the best for him to have as a 70-year-old male who's otherwise healthy and no prescriptions. Full vitamin K2 or Indiamese?
Full vitamin K2 first. What it does is the K2 will help stimulate the apoptosis of abnormal cells and cell DNA repair and remineralization of your bones. Then, of course, the next one is Indiamese to maximize intracellular and nucleoplasm mineralization to activate your genes. It's one of the most powerful anti-aging. In fact, the 18 oldest populations on Earth have indium in their diet, where they have 100 times more people living 100 years.
Wow.
Indium. Yeah. It's a chaperone to all the minerals inside your cells. So it activates all your enzymes and genes.
When we come back, we'll be into the emails.
Yep.
Making the right decisions is a challenge to investors. Are we going to see economic growth?
There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo.
And And welcome back, and we're here to answer more of your questions by email or phone. And by the way, I want to clarify about the membership. Starting January 1, if you buy a product, you're considered a regular customer, and you always get access to the wellness conditions and don't have to buy, quote, a membership.
Right.
That's for people who do not ever buy any products and want to have access to the wellness conditions. They have to buy a membership.
Yes.
But if you're a regular customer, even buying one bottle anytime this year, automatically get the wellness conditions access, live stream TV, and the access to consults.
Yes. Okay, Bill, let's start with Kimberly in the emails from Minnesota. Dear Dr. Deagle, I am a subscriber to your monthly program here in Minneapolis. I have a couple of issues that are daunting me. I am in my 50s and struggle to lose weight, and I am under constant stress. My husband became unemployed 3 years ago after having a good-paying job, so now the pressure's on me to provide an income and get us out of debt. I have developed flat warts, which is depressing to me as I am a former Mrs. Minnesota and on-air model. I was working 2 jobs as a flight attendant and interior designer, flying long hours and swing shifts, and they were killing me. And anyway, she just has some...
Planar warts are virus, so you apply Nutridyne as the best treatment. You can also turn off the inflammation with
she's got a
curcumin.
few
So
questions.
I would put Nutridyne on first and cover it with curcumin cream.
Sorry, Bill.
Yeah.
She's got the flat warts. Okay, what's that?
That's Nutridyne and curcumin cream.
Nutridyne and curcumin.
Over the flat warts, that'll get rid of it.
Okay. Do you know a physician here in Minnesota?
I'd recommend the American Academy of Environmental Medicine and the American College for Advancement in Medicine, or the American Academy of Anti-Aging. Those 3 academies.
Just do a search.
Yeah, and do a search, and they'll give you an online search to find a physician that will assist.
Okay.
And by the way, I can help consult with these generally junior physicians because they're just starting in these academies. So if you want my help to consult, I consult and I'll help, as they say.
She says, I am a sugar and coffee addict. How do I get off?
Well, I'd start with Combine for the addictions and Posinol, those 2 things. And you may need to add Brain Mag if you're really tense a lot of the time. Okay. In terms of trying to lose weight, I'd recommend substitute. I get the Carbo Block and the Lactose Blocker to block sugar and carbohydrates. And I'd make a drink substitute for 2 snacks and 2 meals a day with Ageless Energize and Glycemix. And of course, I'd add with that the dibetaline. All the research studies have shown if you do that, you can reverse, because all obesity is a pre-diabetic state.
My hair is thinning. How do I stop it?
Recidival hair tonic, and I take Collagen Max.
I would say only Collagen Max. That works well by itself.
You want to use the topical Recidival too, because a lot happens in females. But no, what happens is in females, as they're getting older, their adrenal glands, the zona pellucida and the adrenal glands, what happens is the ovaries, they start to produce male-like hormones. And also, you'll see in the adrenal glands, you may produce more male-like hormones, and you want to block that. So you want to use 2 things: a Recidival hair tonic, the hormone synergy to prevent conversion of male hormones in the body, and the Collagen Max. So those 3 things.
But not adrenal support.
No, you want the hormone synergy.
Adrenal support for?
That's for adrenal deficiency. What she needs is hormone synergy, Recidival hair tonic, and Collagen Max.
Okay.
Yeah.
And finally, she says she has trouble with her arms falling asleep at night and foot cramping.
Foot cramping is magnesium deficiency, magnesium glycinate, probably 6 capsules twice a day. The sleep at night is thoracic outlet syndrome. She'll need Inflamex, 3 to 5 capsules twice a day, and nerve glide exercises, possibly deep tissue massage to help break up interfascial adhesions. I get a MyPillow and do a wedge, we call a square wedge, where you put your shoulder in the notch and you lay one pillow on top of the other and don't lay them flat on top. Twist them so that like a carpenter square, 90 degrees, and it'll keep her much more stable and less likely to compress her thoracic outlet.
Okay, Bonnie from Tennessee. I just got over from being ill with H2N3, probably virus, and opened my order of silver spray, and it was broken. And she said it happened to her before, and she wanted to know if she'd have to pay for another bottle. No. In fact, Bonnie, Christopher sent you out a bottle this morning. Anytime you have a broken bottle of silver or anything else that's ours, please just call and we'll just replace it for you. We used to try.
That's our policy.
We used to wait a while and try to go through the post office, and do a claim. Forget it. God, that could take like 6 months. So now we just replace it because they don't. You know what the post office is like.
It's the government.
It takes forever, and they never do come through.
They have what I call the anti-Midas touch. Everything they touch does not turn to gold. Turn to something else dark, brown, and smelly.
Oh, God. Was that necessary?
That's a Bill joke, anyway. Go ahead.
Tyson, in an email, I am trying to access the wellness section, even though he's signed in. Well, your sign in isn't the same as the wellness, Tyson, so sorry. But he says he's inquiring about bipolar wellness, if you have any info.
Bipolar disease is a seizure activity of the limbic system of your brain. So the first thing you recommend is a combination of 1 scoop each of Brain Meg and Calm Mind, Positol 2 soft gels 3 times a day. And to calm the brain down as well, I would probably be using Cognition Plus and Brain Power, which is vinpocetine. And that should settle the brain down. You can improve brain metabolism using CoQ10. And I would probably use the VascuCare. Or the carnitine as well, because what's happening is there's an abnormality of brain metabolism that leads to the inhibitory part of the brain system is not working as well, and with that inhibitory system, so Calm Mind and Brain Mega, the main, and Positol. And for depression, I would recommend BioLVR, Semmethyl, Powermethyl B12, and Superfolate. They're very good at correcting neurotransmitter imbalances. For that, and if you have really persistent depression, I add the Indiamese and of course Vitamin Mineral Max, Minerals Plus, because what happens is you have to convert the amino acids to neurotransmitters. So the core ones are the Calm Mind and Brain Meg and Positol.
Attila, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Berkeley here in California. I've been following your core protocol to get off dialysis. I'm on Vein Away and Allithiamine and Mountain Red Deer. And she says her potassium level went up to 7.8. What's your potassium supposed to be?
It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be over about 4.5, so that's pretty high.
Yeah.
What they do, your doctor can order a thing called K-oxalate enemas to pull out the excess potassium. And when you increase your magnesium, your body will flush the excess potassium out. So you want to go and take magnesium glycinate, which is very safe, especially with somebody on dialysis, and get K-oxalate enemas. And I recommend a few other things to improve kidney function there as well.
Bruce from New Jersey.
The main things there are the Vein Away, the ultrathymine B1, and nattokinase to improve kidney function and to heal the kidneys. NutriFos, which is solid organ, and we have a new product that'll be launching in the next few days as well, which is an extra form of on top of the Minerals Plus, because you need zinc and copper to regenerate solid organs, and the Mountain Red Velvet will help to regenerate it. But the key issue is NutriFos is number one, and the Vitamin Mineral Max and Minerals Plus, because you're trying to regenerate the solid organs, and the Vein Away will protect
What's
the
the
kidneys.
best thing for getting rid of the potassium?
K-oxalate enemas. Her doctor can order it.
Yeah.
And it'll pull out the excess potassium. Yeah.
Okay, next is Bruce. Bill?
But the magnesium will help with that too.
Oh, I guess we'll have to wait till we come back. Bruce from New Jersey. Could you recommend a protocol for my friend who has bone necrosis in his right hip? His doctor is recommending a full hip replacement surgery.
Yeah, we can help with that.
Yeah. When we come back, Bruce?
You got my emails this morning, right? I did just before the show. I answered all those. Tips?
Bruce, Bill, was the last question about bone necrosis in his right hip. His friend?
Yeah, the first thing you want to do is be on Bone Generator, 6 capsules after 30 to 45 minutes after your 2 largest meals. MyCell D3, 3 soft gel, 5,000 units twice a day. MyCell Myco D2, 2 capsules twice a day. And full vitamin K2, which is a Menaquinone 7, 2 capsules twice a day. Collagen Max, 1 capsule twice a day. Mountain Red Velvet, 1 open capsule under the tongue, 4 times a day. Lumen Photon Therapy, Nico setting, 2 hours twice a day. And with you have bone necrosis, that's an indication for mild hyperbaric oxygen. So I'd recommend that hyperbaric oxygen too, because if you do all of those, you can also do exercise with Vibra Slim, which will compress the bones and increase mineralization. So
now, you said Bone Generator 2 hours or something after?
No, 30 to 45 minutes after your 2 largest meals.
Well, I actually take mine with my life support and ageless.
You'll be okay.
In the morning.
You'll be okay, but if someone if you got somebody that's marginal, you want to have it after your meal. That's when you have the maximum alkaline surge from your pancreatic duct, and when the alkali comes out of your pancreatic duct, it absorbs the minerals. There's only 10 centimeters in the second part of the duodenum, nearly just below the stomach. It absorbs all your calcium, magnesium.
Okay. let's see. We have someone that didn't leave their name, and we could call them anonymous. Hi, what was the product that Dr. Deagle mentioned that would be good to take before a trip to Haiti if you were worried about cholera?
Ultrathyroid B1, the Living Probiotic Ultra. It's the most powerful, it's called the How Are You strain of probiotic, and there's no other company in the world, nobody else has this. Yeah, I call it the special forces of probiotics. It's so powerful you can take it before you go to an endemic area with viral or bacterial enteritis, and you won't get it. So if you wanted to give it to, say, a child is at risk, you can give one capsule every week or two, and it'll significantly prevent them from getting diarrhea living in a really bad country, which, by the way, is the number one cause of death of children in the world, diarrhea.
Yeah. Daniel from South Korea. I don't want to take up a lot of your time with this, and thank you for entertaining my email. I've been very disturbed about something for about 6 months now and thought you'd help. About 12 years ago, I became quote-unquote aware and permanently moved out of the United States. Now in 2015, a 10-year resident of South Korea, I realize I'm actually up to my eyeballs in lies, so it really goes on to say he's quite confused and everything. I think it's like a spiritual question, Bill, because he says he's beginning to wonder if the game and the lies and everything ever die. I guess what it is, you think you run away to another country and somehow it's going to be better. I think you could keep running from one country to the next. You may as well stay here because God is here and God is there.
Well, here's what I tell people to do. Wherever country, where you're Australia, whatever, you have to be with like-minded people, and you need at least 30 to 50 families if you're going to have anything longer than 2 to 6 months where you're going to make a permanent village. Most disasters, 98%, are going to be where they're going to last 2 or 3 weeks, where the power goes out, the economy crashes temporarily, or there's some civil unrest. As long as you can hunker down at home, have self-protection, food, water, etc., 98% of disasters. If it goes longer than 2 months, you need to seriously consider being in a community, and that's why I tell people, we've talked about this, and Dave will be on the second hour talking a little bit about this, of getting properties for families. And that's a long-term thing. It takes years. That's what I call a civilization crash, ancient Bible, cities of refuge kind of deal, where but 2 months, I tell people, firstly, get out of the big cities, get in a rural area like we are, be able to grow food and have a greenhouse, be able to have chickens, have fruit and nut trees, have some dehydrated food and some dried food and some beans and so on. But don't get all panicky and don't think you have to run to another country, right?
Without God, though, there's no point in it.
Exactly, and you have to be with like-minded people.
That's what he needs in there. He hears you on Rentz's show.
Yeah.
And sometimes...
Well, God has to be in the formula or you're not going to survive, because you might think you'll survive, but first, if you're not with like-minded people that put God first, before even each other, you won't survive. Doesn't matter what kind of equipment you have.
Right.
Your civilization will be like the Lord of the Flies. It'll be like that one they had on TV, we call reality TV, where they throw all these people of different philosophical and backgrounds, and it was a real mess.
Lewis, in an email, is Nutridyne in an alcohol or glycerin base?
Nutridyne is in an alcohol base because it's how the preservation of the monatomic signature of the plasma state of the monatomic iodine, which is the only high-energy form of iodine that will literally replace fluoride, chloride, and bromide, kill all pathogens, and regenerate your telecells, and we call resurrect your mitochondrial function and make new mitochondria.
And what is glycerin?
Glycerin is an inferior product that will destroy the monatomic Tesla-activated iodine. It doesn't preserve it. It also is usually a cover for the fact that they have iodides in there that are very toxic if you take too much potassium iodide or other iodides. Glucose iodine, for example, iota caps, etc. If you take more than a relatively small amount, you can cause secondary hypothyroidism, and you can actually get toxic neuropathy, cardiac arrhythmia is another problem. So Nutridyne is completely different. There's no toxic dosages. It stimulates new mitochondria. It kills all pathogens, so there's no comparison. So the glycerin, whenever somebody's saying they're using the glycerin base, it means it's an inferior product. It's either a diatomic iodine, or it's from a source such as seaweed that will contain heavy metals and other things, and it does not maintain the monatomic Tesla-activated form.
Deborah from Texas, she wants a protocol for chronic fatigue syndrome. Yeah,
chronic fatigue, the first thing is mostly people with chronic fatigue have got a chronic viremia, so I recommend Nutridyne 10 drops 3 times a day, Cognition Plus, and probably cell detox, glutathione, Nutritrol, and Regenerex. That would be the starting protocol. If your energy is low, I add Narival, which is acetyltyrosine and biopterin, and bio-LVR. And that should start to correct it. If it doesn't, then we go further and add some other antipathogenics and things for the immune system, like high-dose Power C, full vitamin K2, and things to stop your cytokines like allergon, which is a diamine oxidase.
Okay, Alina from Florida. I know you are a busy man, but I'd like to purchase the Cognition Plus for my mom, and her question is, does ginkgo biloba raise blood pressure?
No. It improves microcirculation in the blood vessels in the brain and elsewhere. It doesn't raise blood pressure. Blood pressure is caused by a lack of nitric oxide and a loss of the secondary wave of peristaltic movement of blood in your arteries, arterioles, venules, and veins. And the blood pressure rises because the heart's trying to compensate for a perceived lack of perfusion, so the driving pressure of the heart increases to try to perfuse the tissues, and that can cause blood vessel wall damage. It can increase problems with heart failure, thickening and hardening of the arteries, and it can also create an unstable plaque.
I'll make this next one anonymous, Bill. It's Dr. Bill, what would you recommend for depression? My 21-year-old son is in a mental health facility as he took a knife to his arm on Monday at 3 a.m. He was drunk, and I think that contributed to it. He called 911 immediately after he did it.
He was probably on we call a de-repressant drug, we call it, like Kill-U-Jack, I call it Prozac or Celexa. What I recommend is start off with bio-LVR, Sam-methyl, superfolate, and power-methyl B12, and to stop the limbic seizures, great brain mag and Calmide and Positol. And usually that'll pull them out of the depression. It does it usually within 4 days, not 4 weeks, so it's much faster than the pharmaceutical drug protocol that the doctors will give the psychiatrists or family doctors or internists. Mm-hmm. And it's a seizure activity of the limbic system when you get suicidal and you get deficiencies of creation of turning amino acids into neurotransmitters, especially the calming ones. So Calmine, Brain Mag, Positol, and these other, yes.
It says right here he was on SSRIs. It's those drugs that
I call it Kill-U-Jack.
They make you kill yourself, do they?
Yeah, they do. Actually, they actually can do it in an animal tank with even sea life, and krill and shrimp that normally swim away from fish that eat them. Mm-hmm. They actually swim right to their mouths to die. Yeah, so I call it the Kill-U-Jack drug. It even de-represses other animals, so you'll see bizarre behavior. Give it to wolves.
What are the names of some of the ones to watch out for?
Prozac, Celex, there's a whole range of them. They're all basically serotonin reuptake inhibitors, and they work in the synaptic cleft, and they cause damage to the cleft within one pill and 8 hours on scanning electron microscopy. You can see changes in the synaptic clefts. One pill.
If you're going to take just one natural supplement, why not?
And welcome back. And Michelle wanted me to give you a list of the typical names of serotonin reuptake inhibitors. By the way, a lot of these are fluoride salts. So they attach to the basal nuclei of the brain. They damage the pineal gland, which is a connection between your physical body and your soul, by the way.
Can you read some of the names in case someone else
Celexa, Lexapro, Paxil, Prozac, Luvox, and Zoloft, and Lustra, and Cipralex. Those are typical names. And a lot of these, basically what they do is they all damage their serotonin reuptake inhibitors for the 5 receptor, and they cause damage.
Let's see. Next, we have Peter, Dr. Peter, from Sydney, Australia. Dear Dr. Bill, it was a pleasure speaking to you several weeks ago. You must know this guy, do you? I have been occupied in Singapore for several weeks, and in my absence, I asked Dr. Bartram to contact you to discuss how we might work together in replicating you and your diagnostic capabilities, etc. Oh boy, that's a funny one. That's always funny. Okay, I'll leave that one. We'll get on to the next one.
Well, I can give a very brief response to that.
No, you don't have to do that.
Yeah,
Don't do that personally. I'll just give that to you personally. Okay, let's see who the next person is.
So it slips through the filter, hey?
Brian. From, well, it caught my attention because it says it's a doctor from Sydney, Australia. Brian from San Diego County. I suspect I've been suffering from mold illness from an apartment I lived in about 10 years ago. And he goes on to talk about the risks of mold exposure and so on. And I guess I'm not going to read that whole page, but
Yeah, the most important thing you want to do with mold exposure is you've got to turn off the cytokines, kill off the pathogens. By the way, we have a caller, James from Hawaii. We take only callers in hour number 2, so if James wants to hold on over the top of the hour...
take him. You can take him.
Okay, we can take...
We don't take calls, but if he's going to come
Okay.
through, he didn't know.
Okay, James, go ahead with your question and comment. James, you're on the air.
Well, maybe they heard you say we don't take callers.
No, I'm sure that they can patch them. Yeah, hi, James, you're in Hawaii. Go ahead with your question or comment about nutraceuticals.
Yeah, it's about this drug, a new smart drug called Adium. They said from the movie Limitless, it says it's supposed to be increases your intelligence.
Oh, yeah, that's Huperzine A, yeah,
Let him finish.
is what it is. That's
Continue, James. What
Yeah.
was your question?
Well, does she have anything in stock that you have there similar to that nutraceutical?
We contain it,
that
actually. We have Huperzine A in our Cognition Plus. Yeah, we do.
Okay. And for eye problems, you can add nutriodine to water and spray that into your eye. Like you said,
I wouldn't. I would use silver I'd use silver in the eye. I would use silver 100 rather than Nutriodine in the eye. And I would use Can-C eye drops, but I wouldn't use iodine directly in the eye. I'd take it orally as drops, and it'll go through the body very quickly in the buccal mucosa of the mouth. But I would only put silver 100 in the eye and Can-C eye drops.
Hey, James. This is Michelle. Where are you calling from in Hawaii?
In Pearl City. I ordered from you recently.
Oh, Pearl. Yes. Yeah, Pearl City. Yeah, I remember that. Yes. Well, someday maybe we will open the lines on the Friday show. I'm just trying to get all these emails read.
Okay.
Well, you're looking for that Limitless.
What'd you say?
Yeah,
What did you say? Did you say something, James?
Yeah, about that. It's the curious. Yeah, I saw that it's on the internet that CNN had some person try it out. They said it causes almost euphoria for months, and it really works for your brain, makes you smarter, and it really actually works. And it might be something. Might be onto something there.
Our formula is actually more advanced than that. The Cognition Plus formula includes Huperzine A and a number of other components to increase brain function. I call it the Smarter in an Hour pill. I recommend people take at least one in the morning, one mid-afternoon. I actually take 2 twice a day. And the stuff really does work. And you'll keep on increasing your brain function 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years after you're taking it. It increases neurotransmitter levels, oxidative protection against stress in your brain, and myelination.
The only thing I wouldn't like about it, James, is euphoria. I don't like anything that makes me not feel normal.
Do I look euphoric?
No, he's talking about the thing he's talking about.
Nah, it won't make you euphoric. It just makes you function so well, people think you're euphoric.
Okay, well, we can use that. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks,
Take care, James. Go ahead, Mish. Yeah, you had another question.
Yeah. So what was that all about?
It's the movie Limitless. They had the nutraceuticals actually high concentration of Huperzine A to increase brain function.
What is that?
Huperzine A is an
I
extra.
hope I'm not the only one out there that doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, and the components in Cognition Plus basically increase your IQ immediately. And if you keep taking it, it'll continue to increase it and increase your brain function, so you use more and more of your brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a movie we did.
I give it to Kelsey every morning, for example, our daughter with Down syndrome.
I know. I take it, believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Bill. But that's a movie we didn't see.
I saw it, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Must have been with the boys.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we now? We're off of this one and that one. And Brian, did you answer his question there about the mold?
Mold, you want to knock it out with nutriodine. You want to stop the cytokines with Power C and full vitamin K2, Allergon and Aller Block. You want to stop the free radicals with Nutritrala, Regenerex, and cell detox glutathione. And I'd use other antipathogenics, Allicin Med and Silver 100. And you can rebalance the immune system with Nutri-Immune capsules or Immunomax, along with a high-dose Power C, and repair the DNA with ellagic acid, along with a full vitamin K2 and Maligna Block. And mold, you need to hit it from all sides, which is why the most powerful is the Nutriodine, but Allicin Med and Silver 100. And as you change what's called the Th1 to Th2 cytokine levels in the blood, you regenerate the tissues with phospholipids, Nutrifos, Neurogen, and restore the brain function and mitochondrial function, you may need CoQ10, CoQ10 Supreme, ubiquinol, and the mitocarnitine and vascucare to restore energetic metabolism in your mitochondria, uridine, and mitochondrial catalyst, because there's a mitochondriopathy that happens because of the toxins from the mold. It's a complex thing. Yeah. It's not a simple thing. You can't take 2 or 3 things and expect to get better. It's very complex, but I can get people better if they'll follow the full protocol.
You know, I was thinking about the treadmill. Remember the squeaky treadmill? And remember you had me spray that stuff, the 3M, like poison stuff?
3M, yeah, it was a 3M silicone,
awful.
yeah.
Anyways, it spilled in my hand, and it gave me like huge anxiety.
You call them zonkies.
Zonkies, a bag, you know, like the stuff, and it says right on it, oh my gosh, all kinds of stuff. So I interrupted Bill, he was on the show, I said, what do I take? So he said to take a NUTRIMEDICAL to calm.
Well, it recycles your fat and water soluble antioxidants, because mold makes your body increase cytokine levels like IFN gamma, TNF alpha, etc.
And 15, it's a tablet too.
Yeah.
And I don't usually take that one, but 15, 20 minutes and it was just gone. But wow, that was scary.
It works good.
So if you have something that's poisonous, it gives you that anxiety thing because of the cytokine. What is it?
Cytokines in your blood. And of course, right nowadays with radiotoxins from Fukushima, fluoridated, chlorinated, brominated water, genetically modified food, demineralized food, 7 new chemicals in the biosphere every day. So in the average American, if you take their fat biopsy or a pack of red and white cell membranes, they have 10,000 molecules of parts per million or higher concentration of biotoxins. Many of them are xenoestrogens, so they're estrogenizing males, and they cause breast cancer in females, brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, and so on.
Robert from North Carolina, what are your top products specifically for fat loss?
The first thing I'd recommend, number 1, is Carbo Block and Lactose Blocker, because you've got to block the sugar. Second is you want to use Glycemics and Ageless Energize, the dibetaline, and leptin metabolic, lipoflush.
Funny, he's funny. You mentioned, remember we used to have that Hoodia 2000? He said that sounds like a monster movie, Hoodia 2000.
Well, Hoodia gondii, we have actually, the dibetaline will prove more powerful in terms of reversing diabetes, and the leptin metabolic actually fixes, along with the lipoflush, the insulin resistance and leptin resistance. So dibetaline will actually take people that are on oral or diabetic agents or insulin and take them off it. And the best meal substitution is Ageless Energize and Glycemics. And before every meal, take 2 capsules of Carbo Block to block the carbohydrates. It's better than acarbose that the doctors will give, because medical doctors will give metformin and acarbose. They've been using it for years, but our Carbo Blocker is more powerful.
Well, thank you, Bill, today for all your answers to everything.
Yes.
And it was fun to have someone call. That's really fun.
That's different.
Thanks, James, for that.
Maybe you'll want to do 2 hours, and we'll have 2 callers in the second hour.
Maybe someday. Certainly not today. Boy, I'm right out to the.
I know you're going
to stay.
You're going to double check to make sure you packed everything, so you don't forget anything for our 4-day trip.
I want everyone to have a wonderful weekend, like I'm going to have, and God bless you. And we'll see you again next week.
And by the way, I'll be doing the show live too, Monday and Tuesday next week as well. So people need to know, but I'll be up in Portland.
Yeah, Bill's going to do the show live from the hotel.
I have my fancy audio equipment and my stuff that I have portable access, and we're all set.